Cowboys Nation, this changes everything. Brian Schottenheimer just dropped a confidence bomb that has the entire NFL world talking. And if you're not paying attention right now, you're missing the biggest shift in Dallas culture we've seen in years. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we're bringing you daily Cowboys updates that you absolutely cannot afford to miss. Trust me, what I'm about to break down for you is going to change how you see this team's Super Bowl chances in 2025. Now listen, I want to address something real quick because this has been eating at me all weekend long. Cowboys fans keep asking the same question over and over again. Where is this confidence coming from? How can you possibly believe in this team after 30 years of heartbreak, after decades of playoff disappointments, after watching this franchise crumble when it matters most? I get it. I completely understand the skepticism. We've been burned before. We've had our hearts ripped out in the divisional round more times than we care to remember. But here's the thing that's different this time, and I need you to really hear me on this. This confidence isn't just coming from some overhyped fan with rose-colored glasses. This is coming straight from the head coach's mouth. And what Brian Schottenheimer said in his recent press conference should have every single Cowboys fan fired up right now. Let me set the stage for you. We just wrapped up OTAs and minicamp, and Schottenheimer sat down with the media before they headed into the summer break. A reporter asked him point blank about his confidence level in this roster, and what came out of his mouth wasn't some generic coach speak that you usually get. This wasn't your typical, "we're working hard, taking it one day at a time" nonsense. No, Schottenheimer got specific, he got detailed, and he got real about why this Dallas Cowboys roster is genuinely different from what we've seen in recent years. He talked about loving the changes they made on defense. He highlighted Dak Prescott's complete mastery of the offensive system. He brought up Tyler Booker heading into year 2, Donovan Wilson's veteran presence, and then he started naming names that should make every Cowboys fan's ears perk up. Kobe Durant, Rashawn Gary, the best versions of Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams that we're about to witness. These aren't just random additions. These are calculated strategic moves that address the exact weaknesses that got exposed last season. Now let me give you some context on why these names matter so much. Quinnen Williams came to Dallas last year during one of the most painful moments this organization has experienced in recent memory. Right after the tragic passing of Marquise Lee, the team was emotionally devastated. The locker room was in turmoil. We had just made that controversial Mike McCarthy trade decision, and there was serious dissension in the defensive room with the previous coordinator. Quinnen Williams never got a fair shot to show what he could really do in a Cowboys uniform. He walked into chaos. But now he's had a full offseason to train as a Cowboy, to build chemistry with his teammates, to learn the system under a defensive coordinator that he actually trusts and believes in. That's massive. That's the difference between a player just existing on your roster and a player becoming a legitimate game changer. And then there's Kenny Clark. This man has been one of the most underutilized defensive talents in recent years, and now he's finally getting the chance to reset with a coordinator who knows exactly how to maximize his skill set. When Schottenheimer mentions these specific names, it tells you something critical. This isn't just generic positive talk. He's not throwing out vague statements about trusting the process or believing in the guys. He's identifying specific players who are primed for breakout seasons, second-year guys who are about to make that leap we've been waiting for. Think about the pattern we've seen with this organization. Dorrance Armstrong didn't explode right out of the gate. Chidobe Awuzie took time to develop after his ACL injury. These things don't happen overnight in the NFL. But when they do happen, when those second and third-year players finally put it all together, that's when teams go from good to great. That's when Super Bowl windows actually open up. And right now, Dallas has an entire roster full of guys who are right on that edge of breaking through. Let's talk about George Pickens for a second because this situation could have gone sideways real fast. When Dallas brought him in, there were questions about his attitude, about whether he'd fit the culture, about whether he actually wanted to be here. But Schottenheimer made it clear. Pickens loves football. He wants to win. And most importantly, he came back in after the break with incredible energy and zero drama. That's leadership. That's a guy buying into what this team is building. When you've got talented players who are also committed to the brotherhood, to the culture, to the standard this organization is trying to set, that's when special things start happening. Here's what's blowing my mind about this entire offseason. The Cowboys have operated in complete silence. There's been no Micah Parsons contract circus, no Dak Prescott negotiation drama plastered all over ESPN, no CeeDee Lamb holdout situation dominating the headlines. Instead, the front office went to work. They addressed the defense with multiple high-level additions. They brought in Jaron Kearse, Jordan Lewis, Caleb Downs, and Maliek Collins. They fortified the interior. They added speed and coverage ability on the back end. And because there hasn't been any off-field noise, the media has been forced to actually talk about football. They've been forced to analyze the actual roster moves instead of generating clicks from controversy. And you know what? When analysts actually break down what Dallas did this offseason from a pure football perspective, the consensus is becoming clear. The Cowboys might actually have something special here. Let me paint the picture of what this could look like when everything comes together. Imagine Darren Bland returning fully healthy from injury, back to making those explosive plays that had him leading the league in pick sixes. Imagine DeMarvion Overshown returning to the form he showed before he got hurt, flying around the field and making plays in the run game and pass coverage. Imagine Christian Parker living up to the hype as the versatile defensive weapon they believed he could be when they drafted him. Now add in a humming offense led by Dak Prescott, who Schottenheimer says has completely mastered this system. You've got Tyler Biadasz in his second year at center, giving you that stability and communication up front. You've got Tyron Smith potentially having an all-pro caliber season if he stays healthy. You've got playmakers at every level. The media outlets are starting to notice. ESPN, FS1, all the major networks are looking at Dallas and admitting they might have something real. Not the fake hype we sometimes get because we're America's team and generate ratings. This is legitimate football analysis that's showing the Cowboys built a roster capable of competing with anyone in the NFC. It's hard to look at this team on paper and say they're missing the playoffs. It's even harder to say they can't make a deep run if things break right. But here's my challenge to Cowboys Nation, especially those of you who love to jump into every positive video just to spread negativity. I get it if you're a hater from another fan base. I understand why you're here. You're obsessed with the star. But if you're an actual Cowboys fan who goes out of your way to drag down other fans who are feeling optimistic, you need to ask yourself why. What's the point? You can have your own doubts, but why are you trying to recruit others into misery? This team has given us legitimate reasons for optimism. The head coach believes, the players believe, the front office made real moves to address weaknesses. Why not ride with it? Look, I'm not here to tell you this is guaranteed. Football doesn't work that way. But confidence isn't about guarantees. It's about recognizing when the pieces are in place for something special to happen. And right now, in Dallas, those pieces are aligning in ways we haven't seen in years. So stop letting the doubters kill your energy. Listen to what Schottenheimer is saying. Watch what this team is building. And get ready, because the Cowboys are about to remind the entire NFL why they're the most talked about franchise in football. Hit that like button if you're rolling with America's team this season, and I'll see you in the next one.